Hello, hello.
I can't hear it. Is D-Mac back there? Oh, they're saying they're hearing it though.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
I mean, it's,
Okay.
Good.
yeah, you don't need to turn it up.
You can
It's
rock.
pretty high.
You can rock. All right. Kelsey.
Members of the athletic head here.
Hello.
What was the conversation like with JB just kind of wrapping up the season, and how do you feel about where they
Right.
feel about this your season?
The conversation is like, for everything that you're trying to build, for every successful team, you're going to have your setbacks. And one of the hardest and most, how you say, the best ways to learn is through failure. Didn't end how we wanted to. We didn't do things that we wanted to do, but it was a big learning lesson at the end of the day.
When you look at the season as a whole, how do you feel about where you personally and you guys are as
Right.
a team moving forward?
I thought it went pretty well. For myself, I thought it was a decent season. Whereas you ask anybody, where was it where you wanted it to be? No, but or me personally, no. But I think I contributed to this team to help us get to 51 wins, and I think we did great as a team. Last year, it's always about stepping stones. We made a big improvement from last year. We got to where, not necessarily where we wanted to be, but where we wanted to be in terms of improvement and seeing us go in the right direction. So I think it went well.
Tom Weathers, AP. Jared, what was the hardest lesson?
Losing. It's always the hardest, especially not how we wanted to lose. I mean, we all know the elephant and the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the room is the damn offensive rebounds. It's just something that we felt like we could have done better. We could have gave a little more effort in, and we just have to learn it that way.
What do you want things to look like then when you come back?
I'm always about making incremental improvements. If you focus so much in one area, you're going to lose out in another area. That's how I believe. So I just want to see us make improvements in every area and try to become better versions of ourselves.
Chris? Jared, how much are you shouldering the offensive rebound situation?
Quite a bit. That's my job to get rebounds. That's my job to box people out, to make sure that they don't get the rebound, and I feel like I let my team down in that sense.
And then, as you take lessons from this particular series against New York, in what way do you feel like that's going to inform how you approach the offseason in terms of you getting better?
We know that we're ultimately judged by the playoffs. We're ultimately judged by how we're doing on the biggest stage, and I feel like I was a letdown on the biggest stage, but I didn't play to my ultimate form on the biggest stage in terms of rebounding. So it's definitely going to be an area for improvement for me this summer.
Ashley Bassett, Cleveland.com, Jarrett, along those lines, I know some guys on the team like Donovan are really hard on themselves.
Right.
Do you beat yourself up over the rebounding numbers, your individual rebounding numbers this series, or what the next week or so look like for you?
I probably should beat myself up more, but I'm not that type of guy to get down on myself like that. I understand where I need to improve. I understand what needs to happen. I know that there is a way to go about it rather than beating myself up about it every single day. So the next couple of weeks is just going to look me just relaxing, me just reflecting on the season and just enjoying some sunshine.
And then just the physicality in this series is kind of the word of the series. It seems like JB said last night, he felt like it wasn't an effort thing, it was a physicality thing. I mean, do you feel like there's a distinct difference between those two facets of this series?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. I think effort and physicality go hand in hand. If you're going to put a lot more effort into something, you're going to be bumping into people a lot more. You're going to be a lot more physical. So, yeah, I think they go hand in hand.
Jeff Shadell, News Show. I'm going to ask you again about the rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
After the first couple games, when you realized what was going on, why did things not change?
I don't know. They just didn't. Yeah, I guess we just didn't make the adjustment. We just didn't have more effort. We just Mitchell Robinson, just the best offensive rebounder in the league. So we just didn't make the adjustment.
You're
Jared Ryder, 19 fan. Jared, you mentioned Robinson being the best offensive rebounder in the league. Just, I guess, like from your standpoint, what can you do this offseason now that you've gone through this experience to better prepare yourself so you can be stronger, more physical going up against a guy like that?
Just try to get in the weight room. That's what it ultimately comes down to. No, that's not what it ultimately comes down to. I think that's a big part of it. And then I think it's also technique. Those two things go hand in hand in terms of trying to get somebody off the offensive rebound. And that's going to be a goal for me this summer.
And obviously 51 wins and getting back to the playoffs is successful. But you mentioned that you are judged on the playoffs. What is your, I guess, biggest takeaway from this playoff experience that can help you next year so that we're not sitting here this time having this conversation?
Experience as a team. Like JB said, where everything that you're building, you're going to get your butt kicked, and that's exactly what happened. And now we know what to expect as a team going into the playoffs. A higher level of physicality, a higher level of intensity, and we're going to take that and go with it next year.
Have you had time to process this?
A little bit. I mean, it only happened 12 hours ago, so it kind of haven't watched film, honestly, But I think 5 games is enough to understand what happened. So
how surprised are you by the outcome?
That's one of those questions. I don't know. I don't want to answer that question. It didn't end how I wanted it to. It's my best answer.
And Jared, what makes Mitchell Robinson the best offensive rebounder? What does he specifically do that's a little different?
His positioning, he's stronger than he looks, and the man can touch the rim without jumping. That man, he has a lot of length on his arms, and he's excellent about how he uses all his abilities.
And yesterday, I know before the game, you had mentioned you thought that the team had been a little bit rattled. How do you make sure that next time that isn't the case? Is it as simple as experience, or other things that need to be kind of done to ensure that?
I think it's experience. I think it's a situation that we've been all looking forward to since we all got to Cleveland. We knew it was going to happen eventually. It was, even for me, the lights were brighter than expected.
How big of a gap was there in terms of physicality between the regular season and this series?
I wouldn't say it's a huge gap. Some games are different. Some games are more physical than others. Some games, you barely hit your opponent because they don't go at you. But from what we realize, average it out, I want to say, about 18.9% more physical,
And then, and then as far as the rebounding goes, how much do you think where you were put into position because you guys blitzed more, you did different things schematically, Brunson not being a guy that attacks the rim affected how New York was able to take advantage of that?
I think it played a little bit of a part, having me over in the paint ready for the drive to happen. I think it kind of put Mr. Robinson in a better offensive rebounding position. It's always tough giving somebody like that a little bit better position and having to make up ground on them. So I think it played a little bit of a part, but I think physicality is what it came down to at the end of the day.
Jarrett, you've touched on it a few times now, but does it seem a bit unfair that all the hard work you guys put into the season, all the highs and success you guys have had this season, is kind of thrown out the window and crystallized more so in this playoff series?
Not really. That's the funniest part about this league, about fans, about honestly just this whole job as a collective. That's just how people are judged, off of the highest moment, off the highest stage. It's easy to forget about all the success that we've done during the season just to be judged off of these games, but I mean, can we be mad at them? No, because I remember when I was younger watching the playoffs, I did the same thing, you know, and it's just the way the game goes, and we understand that as a collective, and we know that it's not what defines us as a group, so we have to stick together and understand what got us here in the first place.
Going forward, what does define you guys as a group?
Staying together as a team, playing for one another, our defense, and just enjoying the game. Yeah.
Chris?
Jarrett, in any way, does the result of this series change your outlook on what you guys can do and what you guys can become?
No. I think it kind of, I spit a little bit. I think it kind of helps us look forward to something. I know we figured out the recipe game too. We didn't figure out how to get back to the recipe for the rest of the series. I think we found the blueprint to realize that we can be a good team in this league. We can be a good team in the playoffs. We just have to go out, figure out the recipe, and then keep cooking it from there on. That's a good analogy.
I know obviously today is more like individual conversations, but how would you describe just kind of the overall vibe between you guys?
Right.
I know there's obviously disappointment from last week, but like kind of today, having kind of a chance to think about or reflect, but like among conversations.
Right. I can't answer that truly. I haven't seen anybody since I'm the first one here, you know. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Oh, Spence?
No, hey Jared, sorry.
Hey.
So now that the playoffs is over, you've had 2 seasons with Evan. What do you think between you two can work in this stage? And what's your favorite part about playing with him as you develop that relationship?
One of my favorite things that when playing with Evan is the big lob. We've been working on it ever since we got here. We've improved on it every single season, every single game. Do we still have some ways to go? You know, some of my passes are too low for him. You know, some of his are too high. We still have some ways to go, but every single time we throw one, I feel like it improves. I feel like the connection's getting stronger, and I'm looking forward to that growing even more.
Yeah. Maybe one more in.
Go ahead.
You mentioned it before, externally, JB's getting a lot of heat.
Right, okay.
Why is he the right coach for you guys?
There's a certain balance I feel like coaches have to strike between understanding when to be the X's and O's coach and being the coach that rallies the players behind who he is. I think he does an excellent job. You know, it wouldn't be easy to come into the gym and have a great mood, have a great time at practice if he was just strictly stone-faced and not joking around with us. But there are times when he is that coach, when he needs to get on our asses for joking around too much, you know, turning the ball over a certain amount of times. But at the end of the day, we can tell that he cares about us as not only players, but as people.